How's camp gone so far for you?
Camp it's been an experience. It's really been a blessing just going out there with those guys. You know what I'm saying? You finally, you went from watching them on TV to playing with them in camp. And so those guys flying around, a lot of guys making plays. It's just a blessing. I can't complain.
The coaching staff mentioned that you earned a lot of trust in OTAs. Is there anything in particular that you kind of look back at OTAs that you feel put you in position now to be working with the first team?
Exactly what I'm doing now. Just putting my head down and working. At the end of the day, just going out, doing the extra, staying up at night, trying to study the plays, get ahead of the curveball. Especially with the Shanahan offense, you know what I'm saying? Nothing comes easy. So even when you think you have something, they always keep, even when you think you got it, you got to take the extra step and go ahead and go back and review it because you really don't. There's a lot of nuances within this offense that you have to learn. And so that's really what I did, just try to stay focused on that, make sure that I got all the bases down so whenever I go out, and I'm going to make mistakes young, but you try not to make the same ones over and over again. So
Was being a week one starter a goal of yours after you were drafted, or were you more of a mind to just, all right, today, then tomorrow, then the next day?
Right. It was a future goal, but as far as like just going in, like I said, just coming in and grinding, head down mentality every day, and let the results speak for themselves. At the end of the day, what you do and what you put out on the field is going to be the result. And whether they trust me or not, that all falls into what I do on the field. So regardless of what my goals were, what my visions were, just coming in and grinding, just going, pounding the fist mentality, just going every day.
Do you feel pretty good that if there was a graph of your practices that the line's going up the way it should be?
I pray it is. Like I said, I've made a lot of huge improvements since my first time being here. Still a lot to go, a far way to go. But I've gradually made a few improvements with these few practices that we have had. And I feel like I'm just going to continue to grow and continue to learn from, especially from all the veterans and guys like that. They've been real helpful, you know what I'm saying, leaning on those guys, leaning on the coaching staff just to see, finding extra coaching points that I can use in order to improve my game.
How do you think going up against this particular defensive line has helped you to improve maybe that?
They say it all the time. Like I feel we got one, if not the best defensive line in the league. I mean, if you look across the board, they're stacked. So every day you're going against the best players in the league. So that's the best type of competition. Iron sharpens iron at the end of the day, and we're just gonna keep growing and building off that.
Is this year the first year you played guard? Has it been all tackled up until now?
My first 2 years in college I played guard, and then my back 2 years in college I played tackle. So it has been a transition just going from out to in, just from the different rules and stuff like that, and technique. But as far as that, it's not my first time.
And you talk about some of the nuances in Shanahan's offense. What would some of that be as far as the jump from the college level to the NFL level? Are you just worried about a lot more different things?
Of course, everybody knows the outside zone. The zone scheme that we run here is real complex, especially with the outside zone scheme. I knew what outside zone was, and just when I thought I knew what it was, there's a million different ways that you could possibly run it. There's different fits and different keys that you focus on. Just 6 inches can change the whole dynamic of the technique of the play. It definitely changed like the landmark and stuff like that. So it's really, like I say, football is a game of inches. It really is, especially when you sit down and you actually sit down and you study and you break down exactly what it is. It all shows.
There's also the fact that you have to get out and maybe do more things than offensive linemen and other schemes physically. I mean, even before you can make those judgments. And
right.
Is that something that you were pretty confident about from the start? Yeah, I'm athletic enough. I can do this.
You got to have confidence coming into it. Try not to be too overly confident. You still got to be humble and have humility. Because like I said, just when you think you know it, you don't. So the landmarks and different techniques and stuff like that, since the offense is so universal and so unique and so dynamic, the angles that you do have to set up and you do have to work on and stuff like that, you can't do enough reps.
Building off that, when you're talking about different angles and how inches matter, when you're working either with the center or the tackle next to you and you're doubling up at the second level, in terms of who goes and who stays, are you guys prioritizing in terms of the defensive lineman in front of you and what technique he's playing, or are you determining based on where the linebacker's lined up and the easiest angle to get to him?
It actually can vary off of both of them. So the defensive line, of course, you got to take care of the first level line of defense before you get to the second line. So the defensive line, of course, will always be the number one target. It'll always be, the main source of that equation. But the linebackers play a huge part of it. Like I said, with them shifting over to a right or them shifting over to a left or them stacked, that could change the whole, like your landmarks, your technique. And we know that, and we're just gonna keep repping that, but that it does play a huge part.
What type of scheme did you primarily run in college at UTSA?
In college, we ran outside zone, gap scheme, usually quick offenses, usually a lot of hurry up and stuff like that. So.
NFL mandated this year that teams wear the puffy things that go over the helmets. I'm curious whether you formed any opinion at all. Or is it a distraction? Is it something that you
Nah, it's not.
is something that's good or?
No, it's not a distraction. At the end of the day, it's all for our health. You're gonna have to grind whether you got it or not. You know what I'm saying? In the trenches, not a lot of things change. You know what I'm saying? It's still a grind in there. But it does help. It takes a load off. Apparently, they did the research and they did, you know what I'm saying, the proper calculations and everything that they needed in order to find out, you know what I'm saying, what the results that they were given. So it helps.
It's been a little over, I think, 3 months since you were drafted. Is that enough time in an NFL strength program to start seeing some gains? And have you been able to see some strength gains in that time?
I have been able to see a lot of strength gains. It's just a matter of putting in the work. You know, nobody's gonna at this point and at this time in your life, nobody's gonna sit there and they're not gonna, you know what I'm saying, tell you need to do this or tell you need to do that. You're a grown man at the end of the day. So I feel like the work is there. The work is gonna be there. We got an amazing staff. It's just a matter of you taking the advantages of it and putting it all to your use.
Spencer, what have the veterans just told you about what Levi Stadium is gonna be like on Friday, and what anticipation is there on your end? This is, your first time suiting up for an NFL game.
Right. They've been real helpful. Just encouraging, I would say. They've encouraged me a whole lot. Sometimes I get down on myself to make, you know what I'm saying, you make a bad play. They tell you, like, you're going to have good players, you're going to have bad players at the end of the day. It's the game of football. Just win more than you lose, and then when you're out there, it's going to be electrifying. You know what I'm saying? The crowd's going to be going crazy in the Bay. We got a great fan base. Shout out to anybody in the game. Like I said, the environment that I'm finna be in, it can't be more suited.
Exhibition games or preseason games are a little ho-hum for veterans. Some of them won't even play, but if you're a rookie and it's like your first time being out there, do you take that moment to look around and see, or are you like zeroed in from the get-go? Do you give yourself even a minute
It's gonna be an experience, like just going out there and seeing. Of course, you're gonna soak it all in for the first time, but at the end of the day, you gotta handle business. That comes with the game. That comes with a part of being a pro. You gotta have to get used to it very quickly, very fast, and so you can't really get too caught up in that. You gotta focus on winning the game at the end of the day.
For a guy, you didn't play at Alabama or Clemson,
Right.
and so it seemed like you might be a guy who at least take a moment and have an adjustment. And I realize you've been talking about there has been an adjustment, but have you been surprised that you've been to transition to this as easily or not easily?
What do you mean by surprise?
What are you you started? Right now the starting right guard. You're a fourth round pick from UTSA, so a lot of people feel like I didn't expect Spencer Burford to be the starting right guard in training.
Right.
Does this surprise you?
Has it surprised me? No, I knew I always had it in me, but at the same time, I'm not really focused on whether it's the starting position or second string position. I'm just here to play the game that I love, and I do whatever I can to help the team win. So if they find something in me, thank God. If they don't, I'm gonna keep working and put my best foot forward.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Spencer. Appreciate it.